Hi everybody, this is Nancy Miller from My Creative Life, and today I have animation teacher Reema Zoumut here with me to talk about what's going on as a digital art teacher in the classroom. Hi Reema, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Good.
giggling.
Aw. Everybody, I need to brag on Reema because she won't brag on herself because
No.
she's an amazing teacher. And this is so true because I interviewed you, I think, in my first season. I'm on season 5 now. I can't believe it.
Wow.
No, it's been 3 years of me doing this as a hobby, but Reema has, oh my gosh, don't you have like 30 plus years of teaching experience now?
Yeah.
And she,
Lots of different kinds of subjects in
yeah, she
art.
Of course, and she pioneered like an animation program, graphic design, photography. I mean, you've taught the gamut and you've been doing it for so long. Your students have also gone on, and she teaches high school, just FYI,
Yeah.
and they've gone on to work in industry. And she's out in California. She mentors teachers who are new to the field. I personally wish that I could have student taught with her because if I had, I know I would have been 100 times more successful. I just want wild by fire. But Reema was so kind. So the reason why I know Reema is because this is the kind of person she is. She's so kind-hearted. I Googled animation teachers and her name pops up at the top. So if y'all need to find animation lessons, photography, drawing, like graphic design, everything, she's got them on her high school website. So
Yeah.
Reema, thank you so much for being on this second interview with you. And I know things have been kind of crazy and hectic. Oh, was there anything else you wanted to add about yourself?
The only thing is, it's free. Those lessons are free. And I know you said that. It's just because honestly, somebody, left it online for me and I just put it together. And it's not in order because the software will not allow my OCD to put it in order. So please, take it with a grain of salt. And there you have it.
Well, you're a fantastic resource, and you kind of guided me through my first year of teaching animation in the state of Georgia at that time. 3 years ago, animation was coming to the state. Myself and another animation teacher within the state, we kind of started the first programs, and so I Googled Reema, and there she was. I emailed her, and the kindness of her heart, she emailed me back. I was like, hallelujah, this
It was
wonderful.
weird though. I had some like vibrations. I need to call this. Oh, what the heck? I'll call her. Because I've gotten phone calls or emails before, and I usually just email them back. And you had left your number, and I said, she sounds desperate. I got to help her. She's laughing. I got to help this cutie pie. And so we talked and we talked for like over an hour or so because you were explaining your situation and I was telling you advice because a lot of times when you talk to someone, especially, a stranger on the phone, it's going to be one time. It's one time and that's it. And I'm the type of person, which I shouldn't be, but I'm unguarded and I spill everything. And I said, okay, and then watch out for this, and then watch out for that, and then uh, and you would get a lot of people in while you're growing up. They tell you you're bossy, and in reality, you're just trying to protect and be almost like a mom. And I realized that as I got older. It's just a mommy thing. I want to mommy everybody. So she got it. She didn't know what she got into, but yeah.
Oh, I really appreciate all those phone calls, advice. I
Uh,
do all of your suggestions in my classroom, and they're so helpful. Like it really did. And even like as I've been teaching animation longer, I'd still try to remember like what would Reema do? What would she probably suggest right now? So that was really helpful.
wow. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
No,
Thank you. That's a huge compliment.
you're an
It, it,
excellent. teacher.
Yeah, it like validates my existence.
You're an excellent teacher,
I
Reema.
exist for Nancy. Yay!
Your students that you've taught all these years. I mean,
Oh, they're such cutie pies. They, I wish I had had the wisdom and the perceptions and just the foresight that I do now than when I began, because I would have been a better teacher to those cutie pies. Because, you know, um, you get nervous at the beginning and you want to do a good job, and especially for administration when they walk in, you don't want to lose your art teacher job because they can find someone to replace you like that. And I don't know. I think I've always had that imposter syndrome. Like, oh, what am I doing here? Yeah, yeah. But with a lot of mentors myself, Arlene, because I was alone for God about 2 decades, and then I finally got my public. I had 2 private schools, and you're the only art teacher there. And then I had the public school, and then that's another 2 decades, and I should say 1 decade for the private schools and 2 decades for the public school. And God bless Arlene. She retired like 9 years ago. And then Mindy, she's same age as I am, but we bounce ideas off of each other, and we still got energy. And she's a really wonderful. Oh, and then my co-workers at other school sites, Tina and Gloria and all those retirees, they're wonderful. Um, you don't realize how much you are learning directly and or subliminally through these cutie pies. And the students, I really learn a lot from the students. But and I could keep going on. You have questions for me. Let me
it's okay. I love talking.
hold my horses here.
Well, I was wondering because you're in California and you're teaching high school. So since COVID happened, how has that changed how you're teaching, how you're delivering content? Just to start off with, but then I have a few more questions regarding that change.
I started in Ohio. I got my education in Ohio. Wright State University. And then I came to California, and it's always been face-to-face in the classroom for decades. But when there was one, it was schoolology. And then there was I think there was big, and then finally there was Google Classroom. And I mentioned those before COVID because it was happening before we're now all online. And I didn't trust Schoolology, and I didn't trust, it's bad. But I did like that the district moved in and paid for Google Classroom. So that's when I started investing my curriculum, because it's like writing textbooks, and you're trying to find all those resources and pull them together. So I started in 2016 being online in the classroom. So it was really nice when I got sick in 2018, actually 2017, December 2017. And I could use the Google Classroom and push forward. I love that. I pushed forward assignments that I gave to my student teacher. And God bless her, I learned from my other student teachers what not to do. I feel like I could have been a better mentor to them, but I think I was okay when I got sick and I let go. And Marcella, she just took over my class. She was wonderful. The students loved her. She knew my routine, and I just let go. And I was gone for a semester. I was gone for the 100 days. And just to tell the audience that I have ovarian cancer, and it's persistent, but I'm treating it like diabetes. Just take the medicines a little bit harder and just keep going. I don't want to think. I do think about, um, you know, the time I won't be here, but for the most part, I'm here. Let's go.
You've always been like that since I've known you. You're very much like positive spirit, gotta drive. I always feel like
You got me at the right time. You got me I wasn't there. I have many people who could just, no, she wasn't a hater.
Oh,
And then,
no.
yeah, but now I get it. I get it.
Well, you're like a fresh like teacher. Every time I talk to you, you're like somebody who's in their 20s. You're just like, I just finished with my teaching certificate. I'm gonna conquer the world.
Oh, that's right.
You're very, that's how your spirit is. And so I go like, I can't be down. Reema's gonna conquer the world. I want to go with her. And so you're gonna
look who's talking.
Young mind. Seriously. No, you always have such a positivity to your teaching outlook and to your students and what you want for them and what you want to do with your
so I'm going to jump in. And when COVID came, I feel like I was ready for it. The lessons were on the Google Classroom, and then they said, you're going to do your classrooms through Zoom or Google Meet. And everybody was doing Zoom, and I'm the only one that does Google Meet. And when Zoom crashes, because when we first got on there, it crashed. Oh no, what am I doing? All right, calm down. Oh, I have another alternative, Google Meet. And I just stuck with Google Meet. So when I hear they're crashing, nobody uses mine. Okay. And it's so easy and simple. And I'm like, I'm in. And the kids know how to share their screens with me. And I get really hyped up with them. We're finally, I'm kind of like you. I like the new assignments and the new things, and I want to jump right in. But sometimes I get lost in research, but the students will help me. And I said, let's do a podcast. Okay, we're going to do sound bites. You do sound bites, do 3 sound bites, and we listen to them. Which one do you like? Oh, I like the third one. We'll critique, and it's a project together instead of, but I definitely have to break it down and figure it out 2 steps ahead of them. But you know what? I think art is like that. I think to just stay on top of even your own art, you're only 2 steps ahead of yourself. You know what I mean? Art is critical thinking. Art is inventiveness. That's why I love seeing what's in somebody else's head and they put it on that canvas, whether it's their opinions or that. And then when I see it through my students, these little minds and how they have the perspective of the world, some don't. Some are, tell me how to think. And then some are, and we need people like that. And then some are, stop restricting me. You're giving me too many boundaries. Can I do this? And I finally, yes, I say in my head. I say, oh, yes, of course, go ahead. But, be in school parameters, be school appropriate. And then they take off. They always make me proud. And I think that's the bottom line. When you care about those kids and they care about you, they want you to be proud of them. You're like, Mom. Yeah, here I go again. Mom. At school, there you go. There it is again. But so COVID really didn't change me besides software.
Okay. So how?
So I adapted my lesson plans to software. And so the Google Chromebooks are the Chromebooks that they each one student got if they accepted it. Some did their private, you know, their laptops or their private computers. And we had Adobe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got free Adobe.
Okay.
I don't know how,
Mhm.
but some of the students who had their own computers could do it. But Google Chromebooks, why do I keep saying Google Chromebooks? They said, we don't, they can't handle those kinds of software. So how do you do the
Exactly.
lesson plans? You find something online that, so uh, I used Boxy SVG
Okay. Cool. What's that?
for vector.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my replacement for Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
So the city that I usually teach through Illustrator, Foxy.
Okay.
And then Photoshop, because everybody did a Photoshop lesson at the beginning, was through Photopea.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and you could recognize some of the tools and software. I was like, oh, it's easy. Sure, let's do it. And then there's some things like, where the heck is it? Okay, that's where you call for help. All right, students, look for, and they find it. They find it because they want, and I'll say, extra credit for you. Yes, that's my puppy. And I'll give them an applause and a little sound bite. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. And I'll give them kudos. And yeah, thank you, sweetie pie. All right. So, and I give them credit every time so their egos inflate. And I said, oh, Chris, Tron, you are awesome. Look, you found this. And later in the future, I'll say, yes, Chris Tron showed me how to do this. If I, you know what I mean? To acknowledge them further in the future, if I can remember, it not only gives them more confidence, I'll have that same student help me even more in the future. And it's reciprocal. Oh, Missy, you taught me, blah, blah, blah. And some students will not acknowledge that you taught them. I learned it on my own. What class did you take?
Well, so how about the animation? Because you also teach animation. What are you using as something comparable that would work on the Chromebooks instead of having the Adobe?
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah,
That's a
what
really
are how
good
you work that
question.
around?
Well, we're right now still in the drawing phase.
Oh, okay.
Model sheets, turnaround, you know, moods, learning about different. I'm a true believer that the students really like to do the research in the sense of looking at pictures and scanning for stuff, and they read it. You think they're not, oh, it's just a copy, but they got to read it before they copy it.
Mhm.
Oh, do I have the right information? Okay, copy, paste.
Nice.
Okay, I'll tweak it here, I'll tweak it there. So some people, oh, I don't want them to do, why not? Let them do copy and paste. Go ahead. So I have them do PowerPoints on, I'm going to butcher his name. The Daily Monster, his name is Stefan, Stephen, Becher. I think it's Becher.
Okay.
It looks like Bersher. Bucher, I believe, because that's how I said it at the beginning. Let me look it up. And he did these daily monsters, and we started off with blowing a spot of ink on a piece of paper, and then what monster do you see in there? And he shows you how to do it on YouTube. Let me see. I think it's Becher. Yeah, he does a TED Talk and everything. Oh, he's wonderful. And my students love the right side of the brain. It's more of a right side of the brain lesson plan. Let me look. It's just not
It is a good lesson because I used it that first year when I was teaching
Oh
animation,
yeah.
and my students, they were funny. They were like, "It reminds. This is a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of when I was in kindergarten, and I had to do these." But they really liked it. Kept them quiet.
So we won when we entered it at the Laguna. See, Laguna is like the top.
Uh-huh.
So you got the district where you got all your school sites, and then you got those little contests, and then the big one is at Laguna Beach Art Festival,
Okay.
or the Youth Expo
Okay.
exhibit. And it's right next to like 100 professional artists that only live in Laguna Beach, next to the pageant of the Masters.
Okay.
And we did a sweep.
Yeah.
They put it on postcards. They put it on. They wanted to put it on an apron. The parent didn't want it. I was like, nah. There was another one. I forgot. They did it on some apparel. They printed it to make merchandise.
Nice.
Yeah, and so they not only won first prize on just animation. One student came, and I was there. It was like, that's Jaden.
Mhm.
Jaden won, and it was just a simple black and white
Mhm.
illustration that she put a simple T-shirt on. Won. I was like, you won, you won, you won. And she's like, what's the big deal? and then when she got there, she understood. Like, you made it.
Yeah.
And they gave her a lot of kudos. You're the only animation student.
That's wonderful. That's amazing.
Yeah, and so it made it in your classroom as like a little kid thing, and
Well, they loved it. They were just like, this was fun. And I was like, yeah, art's
yeah,
supposed to be fun. I know in
yeah,
education, there's always this emphasis on standards and we're supposed to be like, but it's like, I loved your suggestions because there was always this element of fun and just kind of
yeah,
a little bit more like, I mean, yes, it's critical thinking, but it's sometimes like we get so caught up and over analyzing things and we don't just kind of like let it out and we just
engagement.
anxiety over like what's my idea, why, and so if you're not used to thinking like that as a student because your other classes might be a little bit more structured, and sometimes it's nice to see where you can kind of,
Where is it gonna go?
yeah,
There was a lesson plan we did with animation with found objects, and there's a lot of artists on Instagram. And my coworker Mindy Cherry found him. Victor, oh, it's been a while since I've done it, where it was found objects like popcorn or pretzels. Did you do that one?
I didn't do that one, but we had to study them in illustration class.
Oh,
And there's another guy, if I remember his name, I watched a TED talk with him and he does something similar to that, but kind of in a little bit different. But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
so
Really
our animation students partnered up with the fine arts students,
nice.
and my animation students did more of the technical and the brainstorming with them, and the fine arts students did the drawing. And so they worked for like a month together. And then we didn't think it, we thought it was like 2 weeks because we work with ideas all the time. We didn't think it would take longer, but it took much longer than we realized. And it's funny when we showed the animation and how it was put together. Yeah, because it was, what was it? Popcorn and then pretzels. We did that as exercises to get their brains flowing. And what do you do with the popcorn? Okay, you can have one piece or three pieces, or what do you do with the pretzels? What can it be made out of? And I think I had posted those albums up, and they took them down because there was so much information. And that's a warning to the animation teacher or any art teacher. When you're posting and you do beyond 5 or 10 examples, which I did, because I wanted to show my students the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, this is what gets an A. This is what gets a C. This gets a D. This is what gets an F. Why do you have to show mine? Because you did that. So, anyways, they wiped it all out. I was really upset about that because they took a teaching tool away from me.
Oh.
The people who have my website, yeah, I'm really bad with names.
Okay.
Very bad with names, especially now.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, but then we had them do any found object they want, pennies, paper clips, and they made an animation out of it. And there was this one of a ballerina dancer and with paper clips, yeah, and all of a sudden this delicate ballerina dancer turned into this muscular, woman, and we were like, and I'm like, oh, so I use it as a commercial, and the students made the commercial. So I taught them my movie, and they make a commercial so I can advertise it for the 8th graders, the next year's 8th graders. You always plan a year ahead. And that animation has been every year. Advertising with they chose exciting music for their commercial. They put a lot of different animations, stop motion animation, a lot of it. So we're doing more stop motion right now with iMovie. Okay. You had mentioned software, and you're like, how are they doing it? And with my advanced students, I'm waiting for the laptops. They had promised us laptops like a month ago. Okay. And I said, let's wait for part 2 for the animation part. And I wish I could show you these race cars. Oh, some of them are beautiful. It took us 6 weeks. So every Friday, we do a critique. Oh, look at what she did. Oh my God, that looks great. That looks great. That looks, oh, okay, what do you think could help this one? Every week. And I would say it took 6 or 7 weeks to get to where they're now at. A lot of good stuff.
Awesome, Reema.
Yeah, so proud of them.
That's the part I do like about high school, because the ability level that you get, and I would be like, was floored sometimes because I'd be like, how old are you? And you made this, like, especially with stop motion. There's something about stop motion. I did the cut paper illustration with them, and I had, were they sophomores? I think they were sophomores at the time when I first started teaching animation, and they just like, my jaw dropped. It's like, obviously that's an A, and you worked hard. But it's weird because I'd be there every day, but you don't really see it until they go into post and they start putting it, and you're just like, holy moly, I didn't know this is what you had in mind. Even though I looked at the storyboard, even though I approved it, even though we discussed all this stuff in stages, once you put it all together, you're just like, holy moly, this is a really nice piece of animation. I
think they like the element of surprise.
Fascinates me.
Yeah, the element of surprise is a real big thing for them, and they want you to ooh and ah, and I do. Ooh la la.
And I love your advice. So it was always hard, but your advice to have them work as a studio, like for a lot of teachers, I know in the arts, some teachers don't like collaboration, and some students do not like collaboration, believe me.
No.
At the end of it. But it was like, when they collaborated, the animations were better, they were longer, they were just, yes. So even though at times I was like, I want to go you just got to work it out. Just work it out, please. You know, the creative differences that would occur. But that would be real life. Like if you go work in a design studio or animation studio, you might have to actually like defend why you're doing X, Y, Z. And I know for the students, they're like, some of them are probably like a little bit of like, I want to be in control, but I'm like, you're working in a team of 5 to 6 people now. You've got to make concessions. You've got to like, you don't want me to get involved because obviously probably no one's going to be happy with my call on it, you know. But you know, I thought it was worth it at the end because by the end product of it was like, there's no way you probably could have gotten this much work done in the time frame if you were doing it by yourself.
It's amazing. It's amazing how, if you break it down for them.
You have to take that call. No, it's okay.
Mommy, and that's my mom. You know, I'm 55 and I still have. What are you doing? I like it. I'm good. I forgot the question.
No, but I appreciate that recommendation because I did it pretty much did it every year. I would sometimes do it even with my graphic design students. I'd have them pair up because we do, like, sometimes we do a campaign. I was like, well, if you do an ad campaign and we're breaking up brochures or a poster, somebody does the poster, somebody does the brochure. And so I liked it. Sometimes I liked it most often. I mean, like, you get those rare cases that maybe it just completely didn't work out, and you go like, hey, learn from that. You guys don't need to work together. We'll fix that next time. But overall, I was always pleased with the team projects. And then when I'd show people, they would be like, really? You got all these students? And then I did what I would do is, like, I started getting smart. My 3rd year, I would get my graphic design students, I'd get my animation students to work on one project together, and boy, was that like on fire. So like I would just art direct and I'd be like, okay, we're all doing this project. You guys are competing against each other as my animation studios. My graphic design students then had to compete against each other. And then we put an end product together, video, graphic design, photography. And so by the
end, I just gave you applause.
Oh, but it's really from stuff that we would talk about. I was like, how can I take this further? And then by the end of it, you had a really cohesive product that would be something that you were like, okay, well, this is how it works in a design studio or, you know, out in the real world, because you've got to cross collaborate. And then there's no way if one person had done all that, it just wouldn't happen. So I just had to kind of more art direct and say creative direct. Okay, so, you know, somebody's doing the storyboard for this overall project for the video side of it. My graphic design students, we all got to go shoot product, and then we're going to work it in. And yeah, I was always really pleased. I think,
God, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Well, you were the one who suggested it 3 years ago. And then I was like, can we take it further? Like, you know, and make the, you know, and it really, people were always impressed. Parents were impressed. I mean, we won some contests because of it, and it led to money into the program. Like, seriously, like, I was amazed. I was like, well, we could keep doing this over and over again, but with new topics. You know, it's almost endless what you can do with it. So at the end of it, they couldn't always tell. Like, I think it was really hard for my graphic design students to kind of see where I was going. It was a little bit easier with the animation students because I'd have them storyboarded out, and I'll be like, well, this part's going to be taken care of by graphic design and photography. So you don't have to worry about that, and I'll work with them. But yeah, I appreciate your suggestion. It's really, you know, and then they can know, like, do I like working with other people? Do I like this kind of job?
It's good for them to find out who they are actually more in high school than they do in college. If you start looking at the trends, college is not the end all anymore. If you look at your puppy's generation, you got, is he 12 now?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that?
Is your son 12 now?
Oh, no, that was when we first met.
Oh, gee.
He's 15 now.
Is he senior now?
No, he's 15. He started high school. Your boys are already,
Oh.
aren't your boys graduated now? Your boys are graduated.
Yeah, I get a senior. I'm trying to like figure out where I'm at now. I'm lost. I'll tell you, his generation, that high school generation, they see this is what's happening in my head.
Okay, tell me.
One, college is not going to be the all. It's not going to be the be all. Some students will have to go to college for their career because of medical. They'll have to. Yeah, you need to be a pharmacist. You need to be, a doctor, and that's pushing from your parents' point of view. But if you look, those puppies in high school and their generation, everything is delivered to them. Everything is too high of a price. College is too high of a price. It's too much. And you're talking about public school, $900 a class. Okay, times that by 3 to be just a minimum full-time student. How much is that? That's a lot of blinking. That's not a part-time job. You can't pay it off with a part-time job. You would have to do something else. You'll notice that a lot of them are going online. Either flipping products, flipping knowledge, or faking it, whatever. And they're being, it's a new kind of thought. It's a new generation, and we're still thinking left side of the brain, and it's more right side of the brain now. What do you mean right side of the brain? Well, it's again online deliveries. How can they encompass what they want in their world? And all it is just getting money to survive or do what they want. Now, education doesn't seem like the stature and power that it used to have. Does that make sense? And even the colleges are noticing that. There's a drop. You think in some schools it's not. It's like knock, 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 get me in. Oh, we're busting at the seams. But there's some colleges that are dying. So, I read this on ARP. It was one of the articles where they have senior citizens living on campus. Did I tell you that?
Oh.
Senior citizens are living on campus, and they're waiting for them to renovate the dorms for them to live in. And they would be mentors, and it's usually alumni, mentors to the little college puppies. What a great idea. Yeah. I was like, if that's not full, and that will make you feel young and important and validated. But these senior citizens, some of them are paying a lot of money to be on that campus again. But I think, what a great idea. They can walk to the cafeteria. They can walk to the library. They can talk to, and the young people can say, hey, blah, blah, blah. I remember you in class. You had all these medals in the war, and you were an engineer. I'm trying to be an engineer. What a great idea. What a great idea. So here, the innovation, everybody has to do it now. And COVID brought it head on.
Okay.
It brought it head on. Where it was like, I don't trust it. I don't trust this online. Now it's, okay, we got to do something. Everything's online. My husband is working online. He's a coder. I'm working online. I'm a teacher. I miss the face-to-face. I miss the face-to-face. But I'm excited about the world now. Not that I wasn't excited before, but it's just, there's so many now new opportunities and changes. And I'm even thinking I could retire. I could retire and do some online classes, teach the way I teach my Illustrator with little kids, and just real slowly, step by step, and jump into gradients and jump into these assignments that hopefully my students will feel successful with. Um, Drawing and painting, I still love it, and hopefully I can do that too online. And I'm trying to figure out how many students do I need, and I'm looking for mentors myself to see how can I be retiring online.
That's a great idea. That really is.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, take my knowledge and flip it. Yeah. But I see the teachers paying teachers. I get that. I'm old. I'm old. I'm hey, here it is, pass it on. Here it is, pass it on. Because, you know, not everything is original. Not everything is original. I'll take some of their stuff and I will make it original. Like I had started thinking about education, and they kept on saying our students were clienteles. Well, if they're clienteles, then I need to start looking at my class as a business. I'm the only one that teaches this. Well, that means I'm the expert.
exactly. And I've told you, Reema, you could really like the stuff that you've learned and done with your career. Like there are other teachers who are being asked to teach animation, graphic design, all that. And that for some teachers, this is like really scary because like, so in Georgia, the high school standards, like I would say about 2 to 3 years ago, they got revamped. And so now a high school teacher now also has to be able to teach jewelry, ceramics, graphic design, animation, illustration. Okay, so if you are a teacher who has always been, maybe you're more of traditional drawing and painting, you might be having a little bit of a heart palpitations going like, what? But, you know, so it's a lot. It really is. I feel like you should be teaching teachers to teach this, what you've learned in your curriculum, and teaching the next generation of teachers. This is the way you can get best results, because what you would be paying for with you is that here's the faster track. Like what you taught me, like I might not have figured out if I hadn't talked to you 3 years ago. Maybe it would have taken me 5 years to finally get my students to work in teams, because they would have complained so much.
Yeah.
Like, Nancy, you got to do it. Make them into a studio. You'll get, you know, better results. But, you know, if I'd listened to my students go, wah, wah, we don't want to do this, then I'm like, well, we're doing it because they do it in California. They do it in the high school in California. You know, what are you going to do?
I love that. When we had the podcast going, I love that. The students were like so excited. They were getting out of their seats. This is Georgia? Yeah, that's Georgia. We're across the country. And then when you told me they were excited that these are kids from California, and I said, you know, they're not blonde. They're not blonde.
Loved it. Oh my goodness. When I have my students go up to the camera and show their work, they were like,
Oh.
Can I be next? Can I be next? I want to show my work. Oh my goodness. You would think that they were going like, oh, it's like, it felt like they were meeting like, I don't know, the art directors, creative directors from like Walt Disney Studios or something. They were just so excited to share their drawings with you.
That's the most frustrating thing is we're so close to freaking Disneyland, and I cannot get into Disneyland. I have to know someone. And the people that I know at Disneyland work in the stores. They're not the animators, so I can't get in. And it's the most frustrating deal. They did used to have, and they still do, but grants. I loved their grants. They helped me so much. Disney, because we were in Garden Grove. We're like 10 minutes away from Anaheim. And it was like $1,000 grants. And you know, art teacher, you could stretch that $1,000. Don't you spend it, you know. you're telling you the district, because what they'll do is sweep it. Oh, there's lots of little secrets. I probably can't. I shouldn't say anything.
Well, you got to take a class with Reema. Reema, you're going to start one of those Kajabi classes. You should look into it. Start up. Seriously, how to be an animation teacher, how to teach graphic design, how to teach photography. Get one-on-one time coaching and training with you, because I will tell you, as a accidental client, basically, because I emailed you, that it works. Like, you're very knowledgeable about how to teach technology in all of these wide ranges. Like, I have never met anybody who has taught as many digital art discipline, not only traditional stuff, because usually you think art teacher traditional, but the wide range of digital media that you cover in your class is like crazy, lady. And so then I had to follow you along and be like, oh, I guess I just gotta be like Reema and try to do some of this crazy stuff that she's doing in California. But yeah, I mean, like, I think you should. I think really, or pair up with one of those other maybe art education academies, and we'll talk about it after the podcast. You should.
Yeah.
I think we should, because that would be, you'd be excellent.
I don't know.
No, don't be like that. You're excellent. Yeah, I'll brag on you.
God bless you. Now, if I do anything, I'll do it for that one student, Nancy. And that's it. Like, okay, if Nancy thinks I'm important, I will do it for Nancy. I think that there was 3 tips.
Oh, okay.
Or aha moments that changed me.
Yeah.
Is meeting you.
Nah.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because you made me feel like what I know was important to you.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Because when you're going through life and you're saying yes, 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 because you're trying to keep that full-time art teaching job. And you're thinking everybody else is doing the same thing, you know. And I do remember sweating it out and having nobody to help, you know, to help me. And then when I got into the public school with Arlene, you know, there's that competition amongst art teachers, because your students are competing against their students, and it's not. But when I told her, look, we're a team. We're teaching some of the same classes. And she was the one that mentored me in a lot of stuff. And she finally started seeing that she could trust me, because I wasn't out to compete against her. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm here to help her. And whatever she said, okay, you need help with the worksheet? Yep, I'm here. I don't have that with this generation, but at the same time, I like that you helped me realize that my experiences and my thought processes were something that was important to you. And I had changed my mind about education and seeing it like they wanted us to see it. It's a business. I'm the expert on the business. So I'm going to treat it like a business. And the students, I think, appreciated that mindset, that there was 3 mindsets. 1, I have to start thinking I'm the expert. This is my business on this campus. This is this small community, and these are my clients. I have to think of marketing. I have to number crunching. I have to get quality products, but usually I'm really selling me.
That's such an easy sell. I love your personality. You always come across so joyous. I go like, I just want to go to California so I can meet Reema.
Yeah, like, let's go. Because there's so many conventions and stuff like that. Oh, are you going to go to the licensing convention? And
the thing that you encourage me is, with all the years of teaching, you are still going to conferences, Comic-Cons. You are doing all kinds of things professionally to keep your skill sets up. I mean, and you're an accomplished artist yourself. So I guess
Yeah,
you're going like gangbusters, lady.
you have to. I guess I'm probably ADD or ADHD. I got the cheeks for it, but I'm probably ADD. And 50 years ago, there was no such thing as ADD. And it's hard to hold my attention unless you're going at it. And if you treat your students like you got the bean counters,
Mhm.
and then you got people like me who need to be engaged and uh, relevant. It has to be relevant. Like, oh, not that vocabulary again. Oh, memorizing. Okay, well, I don't make them memorize the tools. I make them use the tools. We're going to only concentrate on 4 tools, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a little house. Do you see what I did is engage them instead of, and then at the end of the lesson, I said, okay, which one is this tool? Which one is that tool? Which one is this? And I test them, and I'll put it through Kahoot. Oh my gosh! And they get so excited. Oh, let's do it again! Because I'll be the game show host. Instead of running the Kahoot, you engage it. You put your energy into it.
If I get back into a classroom and I teach in high school, we should do a Kahoot or something with both of our classes at one time. They would be off the chain, like against your high school, against my high school. Oh my goodness. They
We'll
would
have
go
Easter
so
or
competitive.
something.
I
Bandanas.
know. That would be awesome. That would be cool. Like if we could
That
somehow
would be
time that the right way. Because my students love the Kahoot. They love quizzes. I did a lot of quizzes with them. But the
yeah.
competition level that would just like escalate, and I would try to get them to do team-based competition more so like if we can all get this average as a class on this
Yeah.
content knowledge, but to go against another high school that's learning
Oh,
Photoshop, ooh, oh, Reema, that'd be the one time I wouldn't be as friendly with you. I'd be more competitive. I'd be like, oh, you guys got this. You better, like, you know.
the best. We'll be frenemies.
Yes, exactly. That's awesome.
If anything, that would get the students. If we have that energy, they will too. They will too. And you know what? There will be moments where like, and they're like stuck as a rock. But then you keep going, and then all of a sudden there's 2 students that'll join in. There'll be 5 students that'll join in. Oh my God, look at this. Okay, I'm gonna give you extra credit. All of a sudden there's 10 students joining in. Extra credit. Oh, okay. Butter it up. Okay, if I was in the classroom, okay, chips. I got bags of chips. Sunny, yeah. Oh, they go crazy for food.
Yes. And the extra credit worked. I would do that anytime somebody would help. Your suggestion for that, I'd give them a few extra.
Yeah, and there's been some stuff about education where they say don't give them extra credit. And I was like, that's not nice because I work for bonuses. I work for extra money. I do it. And in real life, if this is a business, not only do I work in teams, I work for extra. You know what I mean? I for the extra to get to the next level, to get to more education, to get to network with other people who will get me to. You're ruining that experience. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you create an environment that is like outside world, but they're safe with you, and then they go outside the world. Oh, I remember when we did this in computer graphics class. We collaborated with the animation class, and we did their posters for their animation. We did their brochures for their animation movie. And then, when we saw it, you know what's the weirdest part? Is when you show both the teams, they're all quiet. No applause. Yeah, you think it's going to be craziness. Yeah. You can hear a pin drop. And they're like, well, we don't know what to do. Applaud yourself. And that's when I came up with the idea, okay, this is a business in real life. You would have investors.
So
How do you,
I'm
oh,
sorry.
sorry.
So is that point two? Because I'm sorry, I feel like I sidetracked you. You talked about point
Yeah,
one.
you
You're
did.
covering, I'm sorry. So that is this point two about having investors?
Yeah. So again, in the realm and theme of business, if you think of your classroom as a business and you bring the outside concepts into your classroom. Okay, you're a team, you're a team. You could be a team with your friends. Lots of people have businesses with their friends. You'll either find that you can't work with your friend or you can find out that you need to work by yourself or whatever. So let's find out. I have them sit next to each other and everything. But investors came up when I said, what is the money in my classroom? I can't give them money, but what is the money? Points. They want points to get the A. They really do. Oh, they don't care. They care. They don't want the they want the certificates. I'll see kids who are shy and quiet and they look like they're not happy about it. Put their certificates on the outside of their binders to show quietly everybody. Hey, I'm like, oh, they're proud. I'm like, okay, so here's the investors. How do I said, okay, you guys, you have a company, you have a production company, you and your partner who's working to make a movie also needs to invest in another movie. So now you need to make fake checks. And I'm the banker. I'm the banker. So I'm not going to give you checks. You can make checks. You have up to $1 million on the actually $5 million. You want to give them $1 million, that's one extra credit point. Hold on. So I'm probably not explaining it right. So they get $5 million as a company. The bank gave you $5 million. You are investing in the people who are going to get the A plus, not an A, an A plus. If they get an A plus, you get extra credit. Hold on. Does that make sense?
I think kind of.
Okay. So, Nancy, you have a company.
Yeah.
You want to make a movie, but you also need to invest money with other companies so they can invest it with you, right? It's kind of like Kickstarter.
Okay.
If you invest in them, gotcha. If you invest in them, they'll look at your project also and maybe invest in you, right? Okay. So in the world of investment, you have $5 million, Nancy. I'm going to give you and everybody comes up and they get a PowerPoint. Why you should invest in my movie.
Okay, gotcha.
So
I
all
understand
these,
now.
I should have said it at the beginning. So they have a PowerPoint. This is why you should invest in my movie. This is how much it's going to cost. And so I have a little format for that. And then, so I said, you can get up there, both of you. You don't have to be by yourself. In real life, it will be both of you. So get up there and talk to your class and say, this is why you need to invest. You could do PowerPoint, you could do an iMovie commercial, you could do it on paper, whatever you think will win them over to make them believe that you will get an A plus. Then they will give up their money to you.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do it.
Huh?
That's a great way to do it because the students can physically see. I mean, they can like they know it's money, even though it's not real or whatever, but they can see the students who are going to get the money, and these are the ones that sell. So that's great. And it gives
Yeah.
you experience giving a pitch. So that's awesome.
Pitch, reputation,
Yeah.
and I have to point it out. Look, reputation. You know who doesn't, and you know who does. I'm not dogging anybody, but I'm telling you right now, your reputation is going to follow. And here, you can invest in those people or not. See how, organized they are, see what they do for their PowerPoint. And you can give them $1 million or $5 million. They need $5 million to make their movie. So are you going to give it to them? Oh, here, Missy, here's my check, And then some like, I'm sorry I spent it all. Or some will give, checks to their friends. I said, that's real life.
That's true. It is true.
Yeah.
But
John Lasseter, I'm sure, knocked on the doors of his friends in networking. So, yeah.
So what's point number 3 that you're going to share with us?
So I thought, why? That's the bottom line. Why? Why do I do this lesson plan? Why is the student acting this way? Why? And you know who gave me that? Again, I started looking at my classroom as a business, especially as an elective. Elective, your business is on those campus. English, it's different. Not because they're not doing the stuff. Yeah, the content has changed. They changed their curriculum in the sense it was always out of the book. Now it's concepts. And that's what we had to deal with. We had concepts, and we would take from this resource, this resource, this resource. Now they're doing what we're doing. But at the same time, they got benchmarks, and we really don't have, we make our own benchmarks, probably with competitions and, grants and stuff like that. But the third thing is why. Why am I doing this? Why is this? Oh my God, that changed my life with discipline. Boo boo, come here. Come here. Let's talk after class. Why are you coming late to class? Is everything okay? Do you hear the difference between this and what I did before? You're late. You're late 7 times a week. Why? What are you doing? You can't do that. Well, how is that student going to, approach you back? Defense. But when I said why, and I showed I cared, and the other one I did care, but I wasn't talking the talk. It didn't sound like it. So here I said, what's going on? Well, I'm walking and you don't know. I'm walking my sister to school now because my mom got a new job, or I can't get up because I'm doing chemo. And I'm like, oh, jeez, I'm sorry. Okay, I got it. I'll let you have, a few minutes, but you can't have a half an hour. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so business. You're the expert on the field. I forgot the second one. And then why?
Investors.
Why?
Investors.
Yeah. Oh, the investors. Yeah. Yeah. Make them invest in you.
Well, you're an excellent teacher. This is all wonderful advice. And I can't wait for this to go out and share it with everybody who listens. But I don't want to take up your whole evening because I could keep talking to you all night long, Reema. But I can't wait. I'll let you know. Oh, where can people see your school? Because you have the school website and then Instagram. Can you mention that? So if anybody who's listening, they want to see your students' work or get some of those awesome free lessons, or just to see just how you do things in your classroom, where would they go to find that?
Well, Bolsa Grande High School. I know, big bag. Yes, I know. uh, Bolsa Grande High School, but it's the website is bolsagrande.org, O-R-G, and you would find me under teachers or staff, and it would be Reema Zoumut, Zoumut, and that's where my lessons plans are. And you'll see a little black and white picture of me. I look different, but and then Instagram, I have Zoumut, and that's my art stuff. Zoumut. That's it. That's all that Instagram is. But then I have artwork for my students. Because they wiped it off my website at school, I started Instagram. And I think you saw a lot of the projects on them, huh? Yeah.
Great. I loved all this stuff you have in just your classroom. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Everything's so
So you can even see that us doing the curricula, critiques and stuff like that. But moving on from that, Instagram, I have two of them for my students. That's Bolsa Grande underscore animation and Bolsa Grande underscore graphics. And I hope if you have any questions, ask me, because I might not be here to ask. You only gotta, I might retire and then you have to pay. Anyway.
well, it'd be worth it. Reema, thank you so much for being on this episode, and thank you for sharing all your wisdom and knowledge and expertise.
Oh,
Uh, yeah,
thank you.
welcome. Everybody, thank you for listening to My Creative Life. And almost done.